agent? Are you looking to acquire clients consistently so you can grow your business and your income to live a great lifestyle? This is Dave Finale and the RE Skill Builder Podcast.
Hey everybody, good morning, good afternoon, good night. It's noontime here on the East Coast. We changed our time a little bit today to accommodate this great guest, Alex Piech from Frisco, Texas, originally from Connecticut, right? So he's from the East Coast, New England. Before I get going, was it Yankees or Red Sox?
I am not a baseball fan at all.
Okay. Is there a team?
There is. I'm almost embarrassed, Dave, to share this with you, but it's the New York Jets.
Okay, that's fine. I get it. You know, everybody makes mistakes. No, I'm just kidding.
It is a huge mistake. You know, now that we're here in Dallas, you know, I got a 2-year-old son, and that's the debate. Is he a Jets fan? And as you get to know me, you'll know I'm a lot about mindset and winning. Right. And I believe they're bad because they have a losing mindset and culture. So he is free to pick whatever team he wants. I refuse to align him with the losing culture.
Well, just as we get started, Yankees, my first memory of the New York Yankees is watching Mickey Mantle hit a home run. So that was easy to get started. Anyway, this is Real Estate Talk, TGIF. It is not Sports Talk. It is Real Estate Talk, TGIF, episode 119. Alex, I ask everybody this question in the beginning. Do you know what TGIF stands for?
Thank God it's Friday.
Close. Really good. That's a really good answer. I love that answer. Thank God it's finale. I mean, how can you get that wrong, right? So thank God it's finale. It's Friday. Friday works too, but you know what? It was made for me. So anyway, that's how I've taken that. And when I named the show, that was just an accident. Anyway, so here we are. It's Friday, September 25. Alex, you are originally from Texas. Originally from Connecticut. You're in Texas now. Tell us a little bit about your story, about how you started, what you knew, how you got to be this great coach, this great mindset guy, everything. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah. So I got licensed in real estate really young. Just when I turned 20 years old, I was going to college full time. And to be completely honest with you, I had no clue what the hell I was doing. I was not a good student. I did not enjoy school. I was really fulfilling a dream of my parents, and that was to get an education. Neither one had that opportunity. So it was really important. But I didn't know what I wanted to do. And my dad at the time was renovating houses and flipping houses. So from my early teens, 13, 14, I spent a lot of time doing construction with my dad. That's kind of how we bonded. Spent a lot of time flipping homes. And that's why he got into real estate. So he got his real estate license, traditional investor, right? He didn't want to pay the commission buying the house or selling. So he got licensed. Well, I decided one day as we were driving to a flip house, hey, I think I might get my real estate license to help you in your real estate business. He was transitioning to his first actual office. He had been doing it for a couple of years out of the basement of our home. So he said, hey, that's a great idea. Let's go get you licensed. So that's kind of how I started. I just really had no clue what I wanted to do, what I wanted to be, and just figured, hey, what the hell? I'll give it a shot. And through a lot of trial and error, I will tell you, I made a huge mistake not knowing what I didn't know. My dad was a realtor, so I became a realtor. Huge mistake, because my dad was an investor and a flipper. He didn't have the real estate principles, the foundation, the lead generation, the scripts. So I had to learn all of that myself. And let me tell you, that is hard. It is expensive. It's a lot of trial and error. So I floundered for a couple of years. I had some success. Like if you look at the market, they were like, oh, this guy's doing, 20, 30 transactions.
Right.
In the market, that was good. For me personally, that was a failure. Like I wanted way bigger and better. But I tried everything, Dave. I bought everything. I'm that guy. If I went to a seminar, I bought it. And you know what I realized? Most of it was shit. It was garbage. And I apologize for cursing, but that's
it's anything goes here, bro.
Okay. So I was burned so much by bad real estate coaches because I bought everything and I implemented it. I'm an implementer. And a lot of it just didn't work. So long story short, I invested in real estate coaching because I knew one thing. There were people living lifestyles that I dreamed about every single night. and they sold real estate. So I knew it could be done.
So let me ask you something. This is going to go to mindset, right? Lifestyle. How bad did you want it? Was that it, or just something you wanted to live? You didn't want to live the way you were living?
Man, this is a great question, and it's very personal. My parents busted their ass, the hardest workers I've ever met, had me at a very young age, overcame just huge obstacles. And I think in life, there's a few things. You could follow your parents' footsteps and do what they do, and that's fine. You could be a victim. What I did was I said, man, I appreciate how hard they work. I feel like they deserve more for how hard they worked.
Right.
And that was my trigger. I said, I will bust my ass and work harder than anybody, but my standards, my minimum standards for life were huge, because I just felt like if you ever put that much time, energy, and effort, and you're that much of a hard worker, you should not have a ceiling. You should never settle. Like, I just didn't believe in settling. So looking at how hard they worked actually was my fuel to say, if I work that hard, I could really achieve and have anything I set my mind to. That's
really cool. So you set that as your mindset, and you moved forward. You got into the real estate business. Tell me about Connecticut to Texas.
Yeah, so I had hired a real estate coach, and again, I would do anything to fast track success. I didn't need to make all the mistakes, right? I didn't need to reinvent the wheel. I knew that if somebody else did it, I could do it too, right? So it's like the 4-minute mile. Roger's about, once it was done, all of a sudden it was done again in a few weeks. So I already knew that if somebody did it, so could I. I just needed the plan. I needed the clarity and the focus. So I got a real estate coach, and I did coaching for a couple of years. And long story short, that coach introduced me to a group here in Dallas, Texas, Michael Reese, Jay Kinder, who ran the National Association of Expert Advisors, one of the largest, most successful real estate coaching companies. And I was introduced to them. And at that time, they said, hey, we're really scaling our coaching company. We're looking at starting up a real estate brand, and you come highly recommended. Would you ever consider moving? And it just right timing. My wife and myself, we had just sit through a storm in Connecticut where we had like 43 inches of snow in one storm.
Holy shit.
People were stuck in their home you probably remember this, in 2013, 14.
I absolutely remember it.
Yeah.
I had fun.
You had fun. We looked out, we were miserable. And we said, that was when we decided right there, we're moving. We didn't enjoy the market. Personally, the average house was like 150, 170,000. My little town only sold about 200 homes a year. There wasn't enough opportunity for my dreams, right? So my real estate coach got in his car from Nashua, New Hampshire, drove to Naugatuck, Connecticut, mystery shopped other real estate agents, looked at all the marketing, all the publication. I remember it like it's yesterday. I had my entire conference room laid out with everything. And he looked at me, he's like, dude, you're already doing great. The problem is your dreams are bigger than your market. We need to get you somewhere where it's not 200 sales, it's 2,000 sales in your market. And that's when we decided to move. And the opportunity was to come to Dallas in 2014. And that kind of led to where, Michael Reese one day said, hey, we're going to start a real estate brokerage, but we don't have anybody to train the agents. We don't have anybody to run or really take on that project. They already had a huge successful coaching company.
Right.
So that was it, man. Michael Reese and myself jumped in a car, got an office in Dallas. We sat 3 feet apart from each other every day for about a year and a half. And we built this amazing real estate brokerage from scratch in Dallas in our first 12 months. We took it from 0 to 268 closed sales.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. I mean, 268. But, I got to ask you this question. Why Texas? Why Dallas? Why not Miami? Why not Chicago? It's too damn cold there.
Yeah.
I could say Minnesota too. But why not San Francisco or San Diego?
Yeah. So you mentioned San Diego. So before I came to Dallas, I was in a conference in San Diego, and I interviewed and met a good buddy of mine, Dennis, and he offered me an opportunity to go partner with him in San Diego in La Jolla. And let me tell you, That was what we circled. That's where we were going. And I remember he called me. He's like, hey, I found a rental for you to come out here. You know, it's just a 1-bedroom, but again, you guys are just going to come explore the market. He's like, it's like $2,800 a month. And I'm like, Dennis, do you understand? I got 3/4 of an acre with an in-ground pool in Connecticut, and I paid $220,000. Like, you're asking me to live in a shack for $2,800? And then he started saying, well, you know, the schools aren't that great. We put our kids in private schools, and we knew we were going to have a family. So we said, the trade-off is live in the most beautiful weather in the world, or, you know, let's look at some other places. And I'll tell you what, when we visited Dallas, where we live in Frisco, it is all new. It's gorgeous. It's clean. The weather is great. We're 40 minutes from any sporting events. I love sports. 30 minutes from 2 airports. We have a ton of family that comes visits us. It was just the right area, man, economically. So one of the things I didn't know as a new agent, you know, remember, I went to Naugatuck, Connecticut to sell real estate. I didn't know what I didn't know. Well, I started doing research about this market. Fastest growing market by Forbes Money Magazine. Huge opportunity for growth. Like, you know, Frisco was built out 1/4 of the way. There was like 100,000 people. Full build out is almost 400,000. So I knew there was growth. Low taxes, amazing schools, some of the best in the country. So if you typically have a market that has good schools, real estate values usually appreciate and follow. There's a correlation there. And the Dallas Cowboys were building their headquarters in Frisco, and there was a lot of economic development. Well, what I didn't know is within the first 4 years of moving here, about 40,000 jobs would follow from California, like Toyota's world headquarters, Liberty Mutual, State Farm, and you know, so it was the right pick.
Okay, so you said something twice, and we're going to segue into coaching, into real estate agents and stuff. Because the goal of this broadcast, of this show that I've had for, by the way, 119 episodes in the span of 117 weeks in a row, right?
Awesome.
You said it twice about not knowing what you didn't know. Now, there's 4 levels of learning, right? You don't know what you don't know. You know what you don't know. You don't know. So you know what you know, and you don't know what you know, right? Yep. You said the first level twice. Is that extremely important for a new agent to understand, or anybody to understand when they go into something new?
Yeah, I think, you know, yes. I mean, obviously, had I known what questions to ask, had I known how to evaluate a market in Connecticut, I would have picked a different market. I would have went to Fairfield, Connecticut, where the average home value was 3 to 4x. People worked in New York, so the median household income was probably 2 to 3x where I was.
Right.
And I would have had a much better, if I sold the same 20 houses, Dave, I would have tripled my income. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know. So having that, you're unconsciously incompetent. You don't know what you don't know. So if a lot of people get into real estate and they don't know those questions to ask, they don't have a mentor to help guide them through, you know, setting up your foundational pieces, running your business like a real legitimate business, building the foundation. So they flounder. And you know this. I mean, what's the failure rate is in the 80-something percentile. You know, most agents don't last 3 to 5 years in this business. And it's not because they're bad people. It's not because they're not hard workers. They don't know what to do. Nobody's laid out a plan like, no, you need to talk to this many people. You need this many pillars of lead generation. They're just stuck out there floundering, trying to get by.
So let's go into the coaching thought, right? I've always said, and the way I've built my business is training teaches skills, coaching enhances the skills. One of the things that's missing in all of our coaching models is that bridge to get from training to coaching, because people don't know what they're doing in the middle. So you have a quote on your LinkedIn page, and that's what I was doing when you first came out. I was writing it down. A coach is someone who tells you what you don't want to hear, who has you see what you don't want to see, so you can be who you have always known you could be. Tom Landry, right? If anybody doesn't know who that is, one of the greatest coaches that ever lived at the Dallas Cowboys. Talk to me about that quote in the terms of how you try to help people when you coach them, when you built your businesses, because it seems like that is a main vision mission point for you.
Yeah. So you mentioned it, there's coaching and training. There's two phases. And, I always relate to football. I'm a huge football fan, right? Like you look at Bill Belichick, he's probably arguably going to go down in history as one of the best coaches, if not the best coach. And I hate the Patriots as a Jets fan. But there's no doubt that he's a brilliant coach. He wasn't a top athlete. He didn't play in the NFL. He's not going to the Hall of Fame because he was a player. He's a strategist. He can look at it at the 30,000 foot view and put the game plan together, which is step one, coaching. The bridge is every athlete then has the trainer, their skill position coach. Where the magic happens is when you combine coaching with training. When you put that together, your results are 10x, right? It's like if you want to get healthy, you can go to a coach and he's going to say, Dave, you should do some sit-ups and some push-ups, blah, blah, blah. But a trainer is going to get on the floor mat with you and say, here's the exercise. Here's how you perform it. Here's how you do it right. They're going to stand with you and do the activities. And it's the combination of coaching and training where the magic is. Because I can tell you what to do. And this was my problem with coaching early. When I was hiring coaches and buying their products, they told me what to do, but they never showed me how. And it is the implementation of those little details that really, does it work or does it not? Are you getting the most return or are you limiting your return because you're making a small mistake, but you don't know any better because you're just following a strategy. You didn't have the step-by-step or the trainer to say, no, don't do it that way. Here's how we do it. And that's what I think is missing in most real estate brokerages, most coaching organizations, is the combination of those two.
I absolutely agree. And I think and forgive me if I'm insulting anybody out there, but I really don't care. I think the brokerage model of bricks and mortar and the coaching model that's out there today, that's prevalent today with everybody doing these freaking challenges during COVID and shit, I think it's broken. I think the brokerage model is broken. I think the coaching model is broken because they're not looking at the bridge. I call the bridge, right, between training and coaching and what's going to make it happen. Bill Belichick takes someone who's pretty good, who's not great, not a superstar, and can make them a superstar because he knows how to build that bridge to get them to do more than anybody else could get them to do. I believe that when a football team, more or less, doesn't succeed when they got good players, it's all coaching. It's all coaching. And you know what? If you've got a receptor, which is an agent that wants to learn, if they can be coached, they're going to go higher than they ever thought they could. You agree with that? I mean, I just pontificated there for a couple of minutes.
No, you're spot on. Like so let's look at that, right? If
Right.
Bill Belichick said, hey, Tom Brady, I'm the coach, I'm putting you at wide receiver, that would be a terrible decision. He can't run, he's slow, right? But he understands how to get the most out of people's skill set. And you see it. These Patriots wide receivers catch 130 balls. They're amazing. They leave, they go to another team, and they don't even make the starting lineup. How do you go from 130 catches a year to 40? It was the system. He can build a system that if you can plug into. And by the way, that's what most real estate agents are missing. They don't run a system-based business. They fly off the seat of their pants.
So I said the coaching models of today, for the most part, are broken. And the reason I say that is because it just things have changed so much over the past 2 years, 6 months even, right? But there are systems out there that people have sold. And, you talked about buying everything. I started 20 years ago buying everything, right? And I've seen all this shit. I mean, I go back to the Carlton Sheets, Dave. You ever heard of that name?
My dad had all the tapes. I listened to him.
Exactly, right? So, but the guy had a system.
Yeah.
If you do exactly what they say, it's going to work, right?
Yeah.
The problem, I think, with real estate agents over the years, and not so much now, was that they wanted to change the way, I don't like the way that sounds, or my face is prettier, or I want to do this. They decided to change something to make it what they thought. And I would always say, don't do anything, don't improvise, do exactly as I say.
Yeah.
And that's why 87% of new agents fail in 2 years.
Yeah, I love real estate agents. I've been doing this is my 17th year of doing real estate. I've been coaching, training, and more importantly, like my bridge is partnering. I just partner with people now because there's emerging talent who can't afford to write me a check every month for coaching. But I know if they had my systems process, they would just live an extraordinary life. So we partner with them. But, it's just, they are missing the foundational pieces of the plan. And like I said, real estate agents, they love to tinker. If I give you a script that I know works and then I listen back to their call, it's not my script.
No.
They tinkered, they twist, they change stuff. They just can't implement. And you nailed it. Any system, here's the truth. Any system will work if you work the system.
Right.
Some work better, right? Like you can go door knock and you'll get success. What I would tell you is the amount of hours you're pounding the pavement, we could do a more leveraged activity that would allow you to speak to 2 to 3 times more people to 2 to 3x your results. So there's doing the highest and best use. But if you're doing something, you will have success just because you're following a system. And if you do it consistently, which is always the magic.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about systems and stuff. And you hear a lot these days about people just can't get started or they can't get rolling or one of the things that I try to specialize in is new agents and part-time agents. And it's really tough, right? It's really tough for them to get it because especially, as I said, and I'll stick by my words, that systems mostly are broken, right? And they're not getting what they deserve. So my first introduction to you recently was a video, a podcast you did with John Kitchens. John's been on the broadcast a few weeks ago, and I was on his recently. It was all about basically parachuting into a space where nobody knows you and killing it. Can you talk to that a bit for me? Just you have to go crazy with it, but it's so important because there's so many people that don't have that sphere or think they do, and they can build it that way. And I loved everything you said in that. Matter of fact, I watched it several times already.
Well, I appreciate it. I'm going through this right now, Dave. So I moved to Texas in 2014, but I didn't sell real estate, right? Because I was building the business for Michael and Jay. I ran their brokerage and I ran a call center. So I was responsible for 12 full-time ISAs and 12 agents. And so I didn't sell real estate. So I am in that boat right now where I'm essentially parachuted into a brand new market, having to build my real estate career from scratch right now. So what do? Well, the easiest, fastest thing to do is look at the low-hanging opportunity of now people who are looking to actively buy and sell. So it's proactive versus reactive type marketing. So I put it on a linear line, right? If all of your lead generation is just Facebook, well, Facebook is very top of the funnel awareness stage. People are just browsing. You're probably not going to get to a transaction for several months. If you go to Google pay-per-click, where people are intent-based searching, like homes for sale in Starwood in Frisco, well, somebody's looking for a home for sale in Frisco. So they're in that consideration phase. You might get a sale in a few months. Zillow, Realtor, Trulia, not that I'm a fan of them. Guess what? They've been nurtured on that site for 6 months, a year, 5 years. We don't know. All we know is when our phone gets an alert, they're ready to go look at a home. So what I would do is I would focus on the now business. Open houses, phenomenal. If somebody's driving around town looking at open houses, that's a good source to get your feet wet now. Going around and becoming what I call the expert agent in your market. So learning the inventory, learning the neighborhoods, learning the price ranges so that you can speak intelligently about your market is going to differentiate you. People want to work with people who know the market, especially in a market like Frisco, where people are just kind of, a lot of relocations, a lot of transplants coming here from work. So they're looking for the area expert. But really, it's just doing the activities. Profit producing activities is what I refer to them as. 70% of your daily time should be focused on income producing activities, prospecting, meeting people, showing homes, negotiating contracts, doing open houses. And there's a bunch of ways we can do it now virtually, which is amazing. I think we've learned a lot through COVID about how much of this can be done virtually. And now Consumers have been forced to learn the technology of Zoom and StreamYard because their kids are having to do that to go to school. So like we've come over a huge hurdle now. So, first time homebuyer seminars done virtually, open houses done virtually. There's no more excuses. You just got to get out, and you have to understand your sales is a direct result of the number of conversations you have per day with people who are thinking about buying or selling real estate. If you talk to nobody every day for a week, that's going to affect your business. Talk to nobody for a month, that's catastrophic in your business.
So you talked about leads and you talked about all these other things. And we talked a little bit the other day about lead indicators, key performance indicators, or KPIs, which is a buzz acronym these days. Yep. Talk about lead indicators and building a business. We talked about this a little bit the other day. There's a lot of different things, and we know that this is a real business, and people need to treat it like that. And just to give you a little more, we're talking about cost versus investment, all this other stuff. So yeah, I want to go through that a little bit. That'd be great.
Yeah. So I believe there's two types of people. There's people who, when I meet with them, they say, "Oh, that cost a lot of money. That cost." Everything is focused on the cost. And then there's the people who say, "What's the ROI on that investment?" And those are the most successful people because they know it's not about spending $150 on Facebook for this week's ad, because you're probably not going to get a sale. But they know if they make that investment for several weeks, their customer acquisition cost might be $1,000, but their average commission is $9. So the ROI is 9x. For every $1 I put in, I get $9 back. Those people have massive success in real estate because they understand the business of, I don't care what it costs. What's the return on the investment? Am I putting $1 in and getting $2 out? And the smart people say, I do everything that has a positive ROI, and I have multiple pillars of business that are all positive ROI. You'll never go out of business if you're a positive ROI on all your marketing investments.
I believe as you move forward, you've mentioned this a couple of times as well. You have to have numerous pillars of business. Depending on how you're getting into it. If you're starting as a part-time agent, that's going to limit you a bit.
Sure.
And your main pillars of business there are going to be sphere of influence, circle of influence, whatever you want to call it, open houses, and then mixing in some other things as you promote to both, right? So when we're looking at leads and we're looking at the lead indicators, what are the KPIs? What are the key performance indicators that you look for in your business and what you try to get through to agents on?
Absolutely. So again, I use my hand. I'm going to talk on a linear, like when I diagnose somebody's business, there's a great book out there called The Goal. It's the theory of constraints. And they talk about a manufacturing plant and the conveyor belt. There's always a bottleneck in production. So I use that when I diagnose somebody's business. So number one, how many leads do you generate a month? If you have no leads, your business is screwed. You'll have nobody to talk to. So how many leads? The next conversion point is how many did you speak to? Okay, there's a ratio there. Do I speak to 10%, 20%, 50%? Once I know how many people you speak to, then I say, okay, how many did you set an appointment with? That's your spoke to appointment setting ratio. Then how many of those appointments turn into a signed client, either a listing client or a buyer client? And then how many of those clients result in a sale? So that's your listing taken or buyer taken to sales ratio. And at every one of those, Dave, there's a conversion mechanism. Right. And what I can immediately do by knowing the numbers of your business is I can tell you where is the bottleneck, where is the constraint in your business. And then as a coach and trainer, so that's coaching. My trainer comes in and says, Dave, you're speaking to 10% of your leads. If you don't get any better at scripts, face-to-face or sales, if all of that stays equal and I get you from 10% to 20%, we just 2x your business and you didn't get any better at anything.
Exactly.
So, and by the way, what I love about that is what skill does it take to increase your spoke to rate?
That could be speed to lead or who you're going after, right?
It's effort, right?
It's effort. Yeah, good point. Right.
That is an effort metric. So if you're putting in the effort, Dave, and let's say you're speaking to 40, 50%, but you're not setting appointments. Guess what? We go to your script. What are you saying on the phone? Because that's not correlating to what's in it for me to the consumer. It's not differentiating you, and it's not valuable enough to the person to say, yeah, I'll meet with you, Dave. So we work on that. And then once we say, okay, for every 10 people I speak to, I set 3 appointments. Great. We could build a great business on that. Now, when you meet those 3 people, how many sign an exclusive agreement? 1 out of 3. So you got a 33% face-to-face ratio. Now we're going to work on your listing presentation or your buyer presentation. See what I'm saying? Like, now we're able to diagnose the bottleneck of your business. And when you run your business like a business, you know your numbers and you work on those types of conversions and those types of metrics and those skills. That's where you really just have these exponential growths and gains in your business.
You talked about scripts, and it's a great segue into someone that works with me that I get to work with side by side. And we're going to bring this person on to talk with us in a minute, just after this short little break that we're going to go and talk about our sponsor, Absolute Home Mortgage. Hey everybody, Dave Finale here. I just want to take a minute out and thank Absolute Home Mortgage Corp for being the sponsor for Real Estate Talk TGIF for the month of September. Matt and the guys at Absolute Home Mortgage, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much. You're sponsoring episodes 116 through 119, Real Estate Talk TGIF. And we all know what TGIF stands for, right? Thank God it's Finale. Check out Absolute Home Mortgage Corp. They are licensed in the states of New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Maryland, North Carolina, and Florida. Thanks so much, guys. Absolute Home Mortgage Corp. And now we welcome in. Hold up, let me fix this. Now we welcome in.
There you go.
There you go, man.
What's going on,
so
Alex?
we got.
How's it going?
We got
Rocking
Sekou
and rolling,
Alex. Sekou, perfect. Talking about scripts just a few minutes ago.
I was all excited.
What's that?
I was all excited. You guys are talking scripts.
Exactly, man. So I mean, we got into it, and Alex is just like, I don't know if you listen to any of it, Sekou, but he's just a great story, man. I mean, he was talking about scripts and going from Connecticut to Texas and everything else. Thanks for coming on, Sekou. I work with Sekou on a daily basis, shoulder to shoulder, and we work with a lot of ass kicking agents, right, man?
Yeah. Over the course of the years, man, it just and I'm pretty sure that Finale can attest to this, and I'm not sure if you guys spoke on this or not, man, but all these agents have call reluctance, right? Call reluctance, and it strikes me that they have call reluctance based on what the prospect is going to say to them. Well, I don't know what they're going to say to me. I push back and say, well, I'm pretty sure you have call reluctance because you don't know what you're going to say to them, right? You're all worried about how you sound, whether you look like you know what you're talking about or not. And I use the scripts, man, as huge leverage. I use the scripts as like a crowbar to that call reluctance. You guys are having some like amazing results. You're talking about 2xing their business just based on getting them on the phone more, right? Making those connections, right?
Absolutely,
man. I'd be interested in really, really having you guys come in and working out with us. We literally get together every day and lead generate together. We listen to each other's scripting, and it's a mishmash, right? Everybody uses a different script. We've been practicing lately. We've been practicing scripting patterns, right? Obligation scripting and double binds with the NLPs and things like that, man. But I'd be interested in seeing what you did. Just having you listen to these badass agents get down. It's been incredible. We got this one girl, Liz, who is like a robot. Like you wind her up and you let her loose. Just point her in the right direction. She will get through the entire script no matter what they say on the other end of the phone.
It's just amazing. How have you been able to do that, Alex, with agents and scripting with them and helping them there?
Yeah. By the way, that's the biggest challenge, and that's probably the number one reason why most agents fail, right? If we just really boil it down, is if you don't prospect, if you don't have enough top of funnel activity, you'll never get to the result. So when you talk about leading and lagging indicator, the lag is the result. Everybody worries about the result. Well, the results happen if you do the shit you need to do before to get there. Like, it's plain and simple. If you don't talk to anybody, you won't get appointments. If you don't get appointments, you won't get clients. If you don't get clients, you won't have sales. Like, it's pretty easy formula to kind of dissect, right? We're not doing anything magic here in real estate, but I love scripts. And people, you know, I always, hey, how do you feel about scripts? And, oh, I don't like scripts. I don't want to sound scripted. That's because they don't even understand that everything in life is a script. When you walk into your doctor's office and he asks you those first 10 questions, that's a script. But people don't realize it, right? They've got these limiting mindsets and beliefs. So we need to reprogram that. And Dave, we talked about this. Like, for me, scripting is number one, memorize it. Number two is internalize it. Number three is personalize it, make it your own. And when you get to that point, you are just unconsciously competent. Words come out of your mouth and you don't even realize where they come from. But somebody gives you an objection, boom, you handled it with grace. And it wasn't salesy. And they're like, damn, this guy is really good. Well, it's because I had practiced and internalized that script 1,000 times. So when I teach people scripts, it's memorize. I will make them handwrite it. I will make them say it out loud. I will make them record it into their cell phone and then listen to it back.
Damn.
We just hit all the modalities of learning.
Absolutely. Add one more to that, Alex. As you move along, have them videotape themselves mimicking it on the phone. Like, just holding the phone like they're talking to somebody and have them do it. Have them act it out like an actor.
You know, Finale, you know I love this guy already, right?
Yeah. God, man. You're busy.
You know, I love this guy already. I Alex, man, I don't know if you do this with them, man, but so for my script practice, I am make some money now, right? Get on the phone and make some money now. And I believe that they should make a mess. I believe they should mess up as much as possible. They should stumble on their words, et cetera, et cetera. So I still, to this day, read my scripts while I'm doing it. Like, all I do is read, right? Yeah, I know. I already know. You don't even have to show me. I already know you got your script right in front of you. I still read my script, right? So I do this one other thing that set me free. This one set me free, and I hope this helps. I hope this is something that you can add. I turn on YouTube and put on study and chill music and put that in the background. And then I do my scripts to my study and chill music. It sets a perfect tempo. It's a perfect 4/4 tempo. And the tonality, then the tone of the music brings my voice down. And I listen and internalize the scripts as if it was a song. Hey, how you doing? This is Sekou. I'm calling about the home you have for sale. Is this the owner? Man, I'm glad I got you on the phone. Listen, I'm doing a survey of all the for sale by owners in the area. Just wondering, if you sold this home, where would you go next? And when I tell you that it transformed how I looked at scripts, brother. So that one little twerk whatever that I did. Hey, I went to New York City public schools. Don't make fun of me, okay? It was awesome, man. This is what people need to hear. Alex, you said something that was absolutely powerful. You said you don't realize that everything is a script. Right? People don't realize that everything is a script. They don't realize when they say, oh, I don't want to sound scripted. I don't want to read a script. I don't want to sound a robot. As scripting coaches, we must hear that 4,000 or 5,000 times a year. Yeah. It's everybody says it. Yeah. There's nothing special about it. The thing that most agents ask me about, and I'm wondering if this is the same for you. The thing that most agents ask me about is, well, what if they say this? Right? It's always it's the objection, right? What if they say this? What if they say that? How do you approach that, Al?
What if they
don't?
You don't
mind if I call you Al, right?
No, that's fine.
Okay, all right.
What if they don't say that? Like, everybody's worried about what if this goes wrong? What if it goes right? Like, why are you always focused on the negative? Like, seriously.
So,
like,
give you an example of that. When they teach people how to find a fake bill, a $20 bill, they don't show them a fake one. They just tell them what's right about the bill that they got in their hands, the real one.
Ooh, nice.
They never show them a fake one. They say, this is what's on a real $20 bill. They never.
That's nice. That's a good point.
Think about
That's
that.
a really good point.
And that's exactly what you just said, Alex. What if it goes right?
Yeah. Everyone's so worried about shit going wrong, they psych themselves out. What if you got on the phone today and you set an appointment? What would that do for your business? You know what I'm saying? Like people don't think like that, unfortunately. And there's a bunch of reasons, internal reasons. Some people lack confidence, and I think not knowing what to say is always that big hurdle. Like nobody wants to come across looking and sounding like an idiot, right?
Right.
Well, then cool. How much time are you putting in your calendar to become a script master? Do you practice every single day? Do you role play? Do you record yourself? Do you listen to yourself? Like, do you write it out? Like, if you know what to say, my wife actually said this to me about, well, you'll go up on a stage and you'll talk to somebody and that doesn't bother you. I said, yeah, you know why? Because I know what I'm talking about. If you put my ass on a stage to talk about something I didn't know, I'd be sweating bullets. I'd have knots in my stomach. Like it just
talk about chemistry. I'm losing.
Right.
Let me just throw in something I always do is I talk to people about practicing and they're not doing it. And I talked to somebody yesterday. They said, well, scripts just aren't my thing. Okay, well, neither is business or making money can't be your thing. Right? So, but the thing you got to think about is I try to get them to, you're a big football fan, right, Alex? So here's the thing. So let's talk about, we both said, well, you did, I agreed with you, the Patriots, not fans. Anyway, but Tom Brady.
Nobody's fan of the Patriots.
Tom Brady. What does he do during the summer? He practices. What does he do the week before the game? He practices. What does he do the day of a playoff game? He practices. What does he do the morning of the Super Bowl when he's in the Super Bowl? He practices. The epitome, the pinnacle of the game. He's still practicing. So the best practice all the time. Why aren't we doing that?
Yeah. Wow. And what's funny is, like, to go in that sports analogy, if you watch a lot of football, right? What do they say? Every offensive coordinator has the first 15 plays of every game are scripted.
Yep.
You ever wonder why they come out and they, that like those first couple drives look really good, and then it's on the fly after that, and then you got to adjust to the game. But everything is a script. So if somebody says, I'm not into scripts. Great. Hey, if somebody said this, what would you say? And they would tell you. And I'm like, that's a script. Yeah. You just don't call it a script. Everybody has
what's funny, Alex,
responses.
Is your response to me saying the question that they asked me, well, what if they do this and what if they do that? Your response is, hey, what if they do or what if they don't? You know what I mean, right? That's actually, if you ever sit and listen to Dave DeVoe do his lead gen and he gets objections over the phone, he literally says this back to the prospects. He's like, yeah, well, you know what? I don't really need an agent. I'm all set. Okay, well, what if you did need an agent? And what if he wasn't set? Like, that's his objection handler. Who would you choose? And they were like, well, I don't know. Well, what if you did know?
Right. We get that all the time, right? When we're trying to talk to and qualify a seller, what do you think your home's worth? Well, I don't know. Well, if you did know, let's just take a guess. Just give me a ballpark. Like, everything we say is a script, but people don't, because people have had negative interactions with people, right? Who sounded really scripted. And when you sound really scripted, you sound like you don't give a shit about people, right? So what I would argue is that person just didn't take the time to internalize, personalize, and practice what the hell they were supposed to be saying. And that's why you felt that way. But once you stop having to read verbatim, you could put inflection, tonality, empathy behind your words, and that's the game changer.
Absolutely.
We often say that the for sale by owner is scripted, and if you get off the phone with them without getting an appointment, they out-scripted you, right? Because they keep practicing. No, I'm all set. No, I'm all set. No, I'm all set. No, I'm all set. That's a practice for them. They say that over and over again. I don't want to pay commission. I don't want to pay. It's just practice. They don't even have any energy or emotion behind it.
Well, it's what we're taught. It's what we're taught without knowing we're getting taught it as we grow up, because we go to the store with our parents or with whoever we're going with. And someone says, can I help you? No, I'm all good. No, if we said to them, yes, you know what? I am looking for a suit. I'm not sure what I'm looking for. So I'm going to look here a little bit. I'm going to go down the street a little bit. And when I come back, I'm going to need your help. How about if we just said that? But no, we're so involved in saying, no, I'm all set. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. And then when you need somebody, they're not there. Now, with our business, it's like there's so many of us. That's why you really have to be a scripted agent to make sure that you don't miss out, because they're ready. They just don't know it yet. And it's what you're going to say to get them to the point of being ready. See, they need to be aware of you as an agent. They need to be aware that they need you. And then boom.
Yeah. I mean, if you were a department store, instead of saying, hey, can I help you? When you walk in the door, say, hey, what brought you in today? Right. Now I got to answer that question.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a yes or no. It's, oh, I came here to look at a suit. Great. What kind of suit are you looking for?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and by the way, I'll answer those questions because they're self-serving to me, the client. Well, I'm looking for a suit. I'm looking for a black one. I need it for a wedding. I need it for that. And now somebody's just helping you, right? So a lot of it is scripts, and there's little nuances that you can help improve your conversion by saying certain things, not saying certain things. I don't know how you guys feel, but one of the things I did with my inside call center, we had 10 agents, 10 ISAs making about 18 to 20,000 outbound dials a day. And when I would walk out my office, I would hear them say, hey, Dave, how you doing today? And I'm like, don't ask them how you're doing, because if it's a bad answer, the call is completely derailed. Like if the lead's name is Dave, you're assuming it's a guy, and a guy picks up the phone and say, hello, Dave. And now he can't give me an objection because his brain is saying, who the hell is this? How do they know me?
How do I know
this?
Yeah.
I don't recognize this voice. And now I can get on to the reason I'm calling and get to the point. But I didn't allow a natural pause in the conversation, which I call a natural resistance point. I took that away by saying, hi, is this Dave? When I say, hi, is this Dave? He automatically knows I don't know him.
That's crazy. That is absolutely insane. But that's the kind of results that I'm looking for as a team leader, as a group, as an agent, as somebody that's producing. That's the kind of results I'm looking for. I wonder if you could speak to the script of expectations. And I'm just throwing this out here. This is language that I'm sort of using for the first time here. The script of expectations. Most agents think, okay, I've got my scripts. I've got my list of clients and customers. Every one of them is going to be a hit. Now that I've practiced my scripts, and now that I've got this list, and now that I've got this dialer, I'm going to set hundreds of appointments every day because reasons.
Yeah. People overestimate, it goes with goal setting. People overestimate what they can do in a year and dramatically underestimate what they can do in 3 to 5. I'll meet a brand new agent who just got their license and they tell me they want to make $250,000, but their 3-year goal is $300,000. It's like, okay, that makes no sense. Like, it's year one. We've got to build all this foundational. So they overestimate. And I think the same thing, even if you're dynamite on the phones, you're only going to have a certain level of conversion.
Right.
So, and a lot of it ties back to how many people you're having conversations with up front. But yeah, you got to know your numbers, and it's different per lead source. Like, if you're calling FSBOs and your game is, I just got to get my foot in the door because I know within day 90 to 120, they're hiring an agent. I just got to meet them and then add value. And maybe, whatever that is, a drip campaign, a follow-up phone call, whatever. For the next 8 weeks, I'm going to list 20, 30% of them. That's an easy conversation.
Yep.
And expired, well, some of them are going to be pissed off at agents, right? So that's a little bit more tactful. A home evaluation lead, a little bit more skill required in that, because you're going to get, I'm just looking, I'm just browsing, I was just curious. And, one of my best answers to that is, great, what were you curious about? I'm just looking. What are you looking for? So you know what I'm saying? Like, those are such simple responses. Like, I get that a lot with buyer leads, right? We're just looking. Great. What are you looking for? That's not a yes or no. Now I've got them. They got to tell me what they're looking for, right? So little things like that. You got to know your lead source. Every lead source is going to be slightly different on conversions, and you should tailor your expectations to doing that. But eventually what you will know is, I need to speak to 106 people for every appointment, 150 for every sale. And now it's just reverse engineer the numbers. You want to sell 3 homes a month? You got to speak to 450 people, right? Like, it's that simple. And that's where the biggest, baddest, best, most successful agents and teams, they just got that dialed in. It's a numbers game for them.
All right. So you said earlier that, you're just starting to get back into production, right? So it's just like you've parachuted in. Tell me the methods that you're using and scripts you're using to build that business from the ground up.
Yeah, talking about knocking the dust off, right? Like when you haven't made a phone call since 2000 and early 2014, and now you're back to making phone calls. I immediately went to expired, the one that most agents dread. Why? Because number one, I already know they want to sell, so I'm not trying to search for motivation. Number two, I already know they're willing to work with a real estate agent and pay a commission, which is different than FSBOs. So I've already taken two major objections out of the way. I know you'll work with an agent, and I know you're paying a commission because I can see what you co-broke. So, and I can see who you listed with, whether they were a discounter or not. So that's my first initial one. Is I went right back to expired, new and old. And then I went straight to Google pay-per-click, which, a lot of times you're browsing. So there's a second part of that is I need to be able to nurture those people. So then there's a nurture script. Where most agents screw up is they don't realize it takes 3 to 5 follow-up conversations after the first initial conversation. It takes 3 to 5 additional conversations to result in the appointment. But most agents won't do the follow-up or the nurture. That's where they drop the ball. Yeah. I would argue build yourself a huge pool of follow-up and nurtures and focus on those relationships. You'll get more results faster.
Yeah, man, I completely agree with you, man. A lot of agents are looking for the chicken in the pot. Just because they pick up the phone, they're going to have a meal that night. We talk about being 90 days away from the results of your work today.
Right.
And the challenge for these entrepreneurs, and yes, we understand, we've all been there. The challenge for these entrepreneurs is that delayed gratification is not just for us, but for the clients and customers that we're working for. We are putting in this time so that in 90 days, when you are just going, you know what? Yeah, maybe I should start looking for a house. When it becomes an emergency for them, or when their motivation gets higher, we've already been in process for those 90 days. So we can actually, like a good running back, we can pick up the ball and run. Yep. And to be honest with you, if we already have momentum, who's going to stop us? Right. No one's going to stop us.
Yeah. Just to piggyback off that, 100% agree. Delayed gratification. But here's where real estate agents miss the ball. Not making your calls today, you don't feel bad. Not making your calls this week, you don't feel bad. 90 days from now, when you have no pipeline, you're screwed. That's the real estate roller coaster. And it's not because you have no sales today. It's because you didn't put in the work 90 days ago.
See, the pain of discipline is a lot better than the pain of regret.
Yeah.
Right? Think about it.
Well, I've been screaming from the rafters. The new catchphrase that you helped me to come up with, man. Let's make a mess and clean up to progress. Right. I would rather over-connect now and in 90 days be able to narrow my margin down so that I'm speaking to more yeses in 90 days than trying to look for all of those yeses now, those 7 to 10% yeses now. And in 90 days, you wind up with an even smaller pipeline, which is fractions of a percentage. So Alex, I don't know if he told you, but I'm an insane lunatic, right? So I believe that every agent is not showing up for work unless they're making at least 200 contacts a day. Like, you're not even showing up. Like your ISA department, when you said they're making 15, 17, 18,000 contacts or dials a day, I already know what those results are. That's 180, 200 contacts a day. And those are going to narrow down to 4 or 5 appointments a day that they're valuable each. So what I'm saying to agents is exactly what you're saying. 90 days from now, look in the future, 90 days from now. What did you want to be doing? Did you want to be doing business, or did you want to start again in 90 days? Did you want to ride that roller coaster?
It's the whole thing. It's in your book. Here's your book, right?
I love it.
People should buy that book. And on the back is, and decide you're going to discover how to avoid the real estate roller coaster. Plain and simple, right? So, guys, we could go on for hours, and we're up against the hour. But I do have one question. Well, let's say who asked the last question, but I have one question right before that. You mentioned earlier in the broadcast about how you, it's not the brokerage, it's how you bring people in and you partner with them. And we also talked about cost versus investment. I'm putting this all together, by the way. So a lot of times I talk to people about, the brokerage they're in or what they're doing, or they get this, or they're doing that. And I ask them, well, what's the ROI on your investment? They don't understand that what they're paying here or paying there is the ROI. And you talked about partnering. I think it has a little something to do with each of them. So talk to me a little about how you partner with agents, no matter what it is. It doesn't matter what you say.
Yeah. So I have a blended model, right? So what I used to have to do is charge people a lot of money to work with me one-on-one because I'm limited in my time. And people who had money could make that investment and their business would grow. But the agent who was what I call emerging talent, who had everything it took to be successful, but maybe because they were just starting, couldn't afford that investment, they would never get the opportunity. And this goes all the way back to our coaching days. We would look at, why did this coaching client have massive success and this one, this one implemented everything I said. All the strategies, all the systems, all the processes. This one didn't. What was their constraint? Well, they couldn't really afford to do this, that, the other thing, and hire staff. So I said, well, what if I removed all of that and I partnered with people and I didn't have to charge them anything, but I could invest in their business and help them grow and share with them, hey, here's my new construction sales funnel. Here's my home buyer funnel. Here's my home seller survey funnel. Here's this. By the way, here's how you actually run it on Facebook. I'll jump on the phone with you and implement it. We'll reverse engineer your growth plan for this year and next year. We'll break it down to your daily activities, and I'll give you free training every single week. You can log in. You have open access to me, but I give you all my systems, processes, and tools. You don't have to pay me anything. And that's where I partner with people. I'm on a platform. So, to me, brokerage is irrelevant. That's just the platform we are riding on.
That's right.
It's what I'm providing my partners in those agents who say, man, I want to learn FSBOs. I want to learn expires. I want to learn how to become the dominant agent. I'll get on whatever platform to have access to with you. And our platform just has to be, happens to be an incredible platform. I'm with EXP. So people don't have to pay me for coaching or training. They get on their platform. They can be in any state in the country, and we have an alignment. And I just give them everything. But now I'm their partner. I'm invested in their success. And that's been the game changer for me and, a lot of people who I've been able to help through that platform.
Yeah, I had a feeling that's where you're going to go. I just wanted to, we are a multi-channel, a multi-brokered thought process with different companies and stuff. And I said, I told them earlier today that I believe that the brokerage system, and we talked about this, is broken. The coaching system is broken.
It's just done.
And Sekou and I have been talking about this a lot lately. And, it's really, really great that what he's coming up with. So one of the things, we're at the end of our broadcast. And Alex, I really got to thank you so much for coming on. But I'm going to have Sekou ask the most important question of the day to you. And we ask this of everybody on our broadcast. Hit it, Say.
Well, really quickly, let me take our question to the next level. Our question is normally, how do we help you grow? In alignment to what you're saying about partnership, what I'd like to do is I'd like to say that not only am I in alignment with what you're talking about and the platform that you're talking about as well has provided us with the opportunity to help hundreds of people daily. Right. I'm going to say this. I want to know how we can help you grow and how, if any, we can align with you so that you can grow even faster.
Work together.
Yeah, no, I think, we're all blessed. We got a great platform that allows us to scale and reach a lot of people, which is awesome. So I think what you guys do with this type of content is the game changer. It's what we need to do more of. It's the reason why I created my podcast. It's like, we need to give agents the tools that they need to be successful. I don't care if you partner with me. It's not going to make or break or change my life.
It's a collaborative effect.
But I'm going to give you everything. Like my book, I give you my scripts. I just give it to you. And some people are going to say, man, if you'll give me this much, what would it be like to partner? Well, I give you that much and me, right? So that's the game changer. But I think what you guys are doing is incredible. Give agents what they need to be successful so that when I don't care what brokerage they go with, they're probably not getting what they need. And now they have it at their fingertips or their earbuds to listen to. So I say we just keep doing this, the scripts. role play. I'll jump in. I'll do whatever I can with you guys to help put in my 2 cents. By no means do I think I'm an expert or the best in the world, but I've done it enough where I'm willing to jump in and give you my 2 cents because I know it'll help a little bit.
Well, I got to tell you, before we came on, I've been talking about your podcast with John Kitchens, and I've actually been using it as a training tool. I've been giving it to people and giving them the link to it. But as we end today, I want to thank Sekou. Thank you so much for coming on. You're always invaluable to me. You're my friend, colleague. And I know why Alex decided to come out, because you saw that Kitchens got one of these.
I'm waiting for mine.
You got to get it. It's on its way.
Well, you've heard it. So it's on its way. I want to, Alex, stay on for a minute, everybody, real quick.
I got to run. I love you guys.
Take care, man.
Thanks, man.
Thank you very much for coming on. So thank you so much for coming on. We'll connect. I'm sure there's going to be real soon. Hopefully, we'll be able to connect in person. This has been a pleasure and honor. Thank you so much, Alex. And we've got your email address on here. If people want to connect with you, they can also check you out on Facebook. So
yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you having me on. This was a ton of fun. I could talk shop all day long, so I appreciate it.
Well, the whole idea is to do what we do and to give out value and to talk about the different things that we see as the innovating and the energizing things to help real estate agents build their businesses, because we've all been in it long enough to understand what doesn't work, but what does work. And it's always little nuances, little things that we talked about that. Alex, thank you again. And we'll talk soon. Just hold on 1 second, okay?
Yeah.